Coach, I guess first off, how's everyone feeling? It seems like there was a little something going around Saturday.
Everybody's better. I mean, Alex got sick over the last few days and hadn't been at practice, but with her situation, that hadn't quite mattered. And a few coaches are starting to go down, but the players seem to be all bouncing back, and we're in a pretty good spot.
So just based off that, I take it still not going to see Alex this week.
Right? We won't see Alex.
You kind of look now at the last few games, and I know obviously not trying to keep focused on one game at a time, but how much do you guys kind of know that the importance of getting one of those top two seeds and getting that extra day off, with just kind of how the structure of the WCC tournament is?
I don't even think we can go there. I mean, I think with young players, we're just trying to really practice well, and I've been really happy with how we've practiced. The attention to detail, the what our players are picking up now, even versus 2 and 3 weeks ago. Um, there's just dangling something like that in front of them and going, if you want an extra day, you better win this one. I mean, I just don't think that achieves anything. It's the wrong motivation. If they don't play hard just to go try to win a game, then why would they to get an extra day off? We're just going to worry about what we're doing right now. Had a great practice today. Obviously have LMU coming in tomorrow, and what a great challenge for us. And then we take on the next.
Talk about LMU a little bit. Obviously, I know kind of a frustrating one down there to put it lightly. But obviously, they have players that can score. They still had to, find the way to get to the bucket, get those or get to the line, etc. What kind of adjustments do you see that you can make kind of from that first game?
Yeah, I mean, just give them credit for making really, really unbelievably hard shots. Um, I can question 100 times, some of the fouls that people are able to draw, and that's just all I can do is question it. They're good players. I think we guard pretty good. I think we can block shots. I think we can do some good things. So we're just going to continue to stay aggressive and try to guard people like we have all season. Um, we've got to try attempt to not put them at the line. I think that was a real big key in them being able to put, as even the points that they did put on the board. Um, so that's a challenge for us, but we can't be tentative by saying, well, don't foul them, because they're attacking the rim, and you gotta guard, you gotta keep them in front of you. So it's a great challenge. But I thought we scored pretty good against them. I think we have a good plan. I think our players are a little bit better than they were, when we played them the first time, and more confident in what we want to do and how we want to attack. So we got to find ways to outscore people. And when we've struggled a little bit this year, it's because we haven't scored enough points. So we're gonna guard as good as we can, and we're gonna put some points on the board.
You guys are holding opponents to just 28% from three in conference play, as compared to I believe it was 38% in non-con. Was there just is it just teams of maybe aren't as good 3-point shooters, or is there something that you guys really did fundamentally?
I don't know. I mean, the games we've lost, we've given up threes. I mean, Stanford, what were they, 13 of 15 at one point? I mean, how do you ever recover from that statistic alone for the entire non-conference? I mean, and I don't know that they've made one since. So I don't know. People tend to, they certainly liked our defense in the early part. I think we've gotten a little bit more disciplined in guarding, and certainly scouting and knowing personnel and how we want to guard. So maybe a little bit of both, but um, our kids are getting better, I think, on the defensive end and knowing how to guard. So um, but then you think about Portland, and they got threes off against us. So we didn't do a good job of that. So there have been games in this league where even we've given up threes that have caused us to lose games. So it's a game by game situation. I think players are just too good to give them all day long time and rhythm and space, and so we gotta continue to speed people up and make them make hard shots.
Candace had that stretch a few weeks ago where she had double digits in 3 straight games, just 10 points in the last 4 total. Is there some kind of maybe signs you see of kind of where almost like where Bella was her freshman year, where there's the highs, there's the lows, and it's kind of about just finding that consistency?
Yes, yes, good point. I think I don't I you just never know when the consistency, the hunger, the attention to detail, the getting out of your own way, like not letting your feelings dictate your practice or your effort. Um, there's nothing easy about what we're asking our players to do, but you have to have a mindset to walk into the gym every day and challenge yourself and push yourself emotionally and mentally and physically, all of those. And young players, it's just the most difficult thing for them to do. They're just trying to survive. And I think Candy is in that spot where, has great days and a little bit of a roller coaster and kind of goes back and feels good about herself. Gets a little success and then she's like, oh, I got this. And you never have it. You just have to earn it every single day. But again, been very pleased with where she is and where her work ethic has been. Had a great day at practice today, and that's just what we want to continue to go by, is just show up today and be better. And she really was. And yeah, I think she knows. We talk about it every week. I think we meet about it. um it's just not a light switch moment. I think it takes time and maturity. And I don't think she's quite there yet, but I think we're seeing signs of it.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jamie. And Greg, go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you about Elanora. I wasn't around a few years ago when you signed her. How did you discover her?
Well, Lori Kane, my associate head coach, is really amazingly good at international recruiting and watches a lot of games in FIBA and everything out there. So she had watched, and I think there was maybe a moment or two when people didn't think that she has a twin sister who is better, at the time was better, always played point guard, and LA always played the two guard. Um, and everybody thought that, well, Matty signed a professional contract. And so everybody thought both of them were going to go pro. And we just came in on LA, tried to recruit both of them. Matty didn't really sign a pro contract. She signed an amateur contract with a professional, top team. So she was legal to come back over here or come and play here. We just couldn't get Matty on a visit at the same time that we got LA and her brother. So
Okay.
just an amazing story. I mean, very interested. Splitting them up was a big deal. I mean, we didn't know if we could get LA if Matty didn't come, and then we met with them separately and asked LA, and we were like, will you come without Matty? And she was like, yes. And so the visit was great, and I just think it's been an amazing ride for her and so good for her because, not that splitting up her and her sister was a great thing, but it was ultimately they were going to have to, and it's really made LA grow into, more of a point guard, more of a playmaking guard, which is what she needs to do because she's going to do that at the next level.
What is her sister doing?
Her sister's still on one of the top teams in Italy and on a Euro Cup team and on the national team and is an amazing player. She got drafted after last year. She got drafted, I think in the third round or second round of the WNBA draft. So imagine that. Imagine if so now she can't come back. Once she was drafted, she couldn't go to the States, but there was even a moment when she could if she hadn't gotten drafted. So, and who knows what could have been. But we've since had her on campus. She came and visited her sister. And, I think if we'd gotten her on campus, we would have gotten her. But just the timing of it all. And it's all worked out really great for Matty. And clearly it's worked out great for us. And Ellie, I think, is just flourished and is going to continue to become everything that she's capable of in our program.
You know, I've heard you say that you've got to recruit players that kind of have some holes in their game and then develop them. Where is that with Ellie?
Well, I just think, she's a small, kind of not real strong, so more petite. Her size is a little slender. So she's going to need to play point guard, and she's never really played that. So I think over time, she's just going to get more and more minutes as that. But that's it. I don't think there's anything else. There's things that, like her sister in particular, like her sister is just a genius at angles and maybe not bringing the ball up the sideline and doing some things that just true point guards know to do instinctively. And Ellie's never really done that, so she'll get herself into trouble with her handle at times early in her career. And so I think just shifting her into more ball handling and playmaking situations over time is really just gonna continue to grow her game. But everything else about her, we want her to be more shifty. We want her to be super shifty. We want her to be like a, Steph Curry, be able to get her shot off from three. I think those are things in her part of her game because of her ability. I think she can grow into that a little bit more of a threat and more shifty as a 3-point shooter. But she's as good as anybody on that runner. She's as good as anybody on timing of back cuts. She's a baller. She's wants big moments and competitor and just a great teammate. So she's one of those that we were so fortunate to get, and there's not very many holes. And what we've got to do is just really get her to the next level and make her such a complete player that she's ready for the next level.
She ends up being all freshman team last year. Did she have the kind of season you expect, or did she exceed expectations?
Oh, I mean, you never really know how good a freshman's going to be. Gosh, especially at that level, playing in the pack, and I don't know that we thought she could be that good and that consistent. I'm not so sure she wasn't our most consistent player by the end of the year. And then yet we went back and watched. I think that Cal Poly was the first game that she played in, and she was a train wreck in the first game of the year that she played in as a Division I athlete. I mean, she wasn't very good. So her ceiling and her understanding and her ability to grow her game it's amazing. And I don't know that that's very common. And the other thing that I think is a completely unbelievable for her is she honestly did not know that much English. She wasn't that good. And to this day, when she sends me a text, I'm just wondering how she's making all A's because, some of her, anyway, it doesn't matter. Her English at times, it's like, I can't even believe, but the ability of her to be in a dark room in a scout and probably not understand us as we're talking through a scout, not hear good enough, but she could watch the film and get what we were saying. And she never, ever missed an assignment on a scout. And that's just another level of IQ and understanding of the game and her attention to detail and how smart she is and how instinctive she is. And, and it doesn't, I don't think it doesn't come hard for her. Like it's easy for her. It's not like something she has to study to get. She just understands what we're asking and does. So just a real credit to her, but a lot of it is instincts and natural ability and just, again, very committed to doing the right thing.
She leads you in several categories. Is she your most consistent player this year?
Well, I think when she's on the floor, she's just as consistent as any, just yes, her, it's hard to compare her and probably Tara. I think AT's, a little bit more inconsistent, but crucial to our success. I think if any one of those three in particular have an off night, we're in trouble, so this pressure to be really, really solid is huge. But I think the fact that Ellie can shoot it and score it so well and is such a ball handler as well is really crucial. At this level, you got to have that in order to compete against anybody you were playing against. So I would say it's a 1-2 punch with her and Tara in particular, as far as how consistent they've been and showing up and being their best on every game night. And
Yeah.
again, that's a senior versus a sophomore, so it's pretty impressive what she is.
Well, let me ask it another way. Has she had an all WCC season?
Well, well, yes. I mean,
Okay.
that's a no-brainer, I would say.
Yeah.
Now, there's some really good players in this league. I don't even know how many are selected. I don't even know how it's done. So I don't know how that will be. Clearly, we're not the top team right now or the second team, or I don't know where we are, but there's an argument for everybody. But yeah, I think she's one of the best players in this league.
And academically, what is she studying?
She's kind of in communications, which is hilarious too. Um, and is great. I mean, but even that, like, made great grades, not completely having the language down when she got here a year ago, but she's very detailed in when she finished sitting in a lecture room. She went back and she studied her notes right when she got back, and she rewrote notes, and so she had a plan and knew how to, which again is so much of some of the internationals that we have, they come from a very difficult academic, their academic standing is some of the stuff that they've learned is way advanced than some of the things we're doing right here. So she was very prepared for the university life and being able to maintain it. It was just the fact that she had to change languages to do it that is so impressive.
Thank you, Kamie.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for the anything you do for her is amazing. Her dad's coming in on Monday too, so we got a week with Dad being here, so we're gonna have fun.